Hello, everyone. Very lovely to meet you. And welcome to my session. Hi, everybody, virtually joining as well. So, a bit of a context in the beginning. I have been in the business of people, strategy, and operations for quite some time now, working for companies big and small in tech, fintech, as well as IT services. I've dabbled into areas from finance to people, strategy, operations, talent management, talent acquisition, employer branding, and diversity and inclusion. I've had the privilege of working for a Fortune 500 company early in my career, and then I shifted to working more into distributed organizations, startups, and scale-ups. Today, I'm in the role of global head of people at Make, and I'm very privileged to work in a distributed team, sharing the same vision, how we can push the boundaries so we can empower more people to unlock their potential for innovation on the spectrum of innovation, as well as businesses to be more creative. But hey, this is not all we're going to talk about today. This is not all you're going to hear from me. I'm not all about business. I'm very big on teamwork, inclusivity, and how I can also be helpful for people to understand how they can be more creative at their work and thrive. And I'm very happy to share a little bit more about the magic between no-code and how it can power distributed organizations. So this is a picture that is not just new for everybody in this room, because you all have played a leading role in making this picture happen. And the transition from the way work is being done and what we imagine as workplace. Starting from work being done in the fields, through the era of the Industrial Revolution and the factory model, where people really needed to share the same physical space, because this is where machinery, resources, and people were, and that was the only way we can get things done, and we can turn raw materials into finished products. And if you think about how meetings and collaboration was happening back then, it was only possible when there was someone speaking very loudly in front of a large group of people. Well, luckily, we have moved from that quite a lot. And with the tech advancement, the lines between the digital, physical, and biological has really blurred, making it possible for work to be much more widespread, much more decentralized, and distributed. So the workplace has changed. Habits become much more digital, much more innovative. Our attitudes have changed as well. The way we communicate and the way we collaborate with technology has changed. However, let me ask you something. If we zoom out, has that much changed? Because if we look carefully, we can find examples of distributed teams already in the Middle Age, in the Renaissance, in the Industrial Age, and the information age. So, have we peaked? Have we been truly able to unlock the potential to be creative and innovate? Now, I'm going to ask you something. That's the interactive stage. So, how many words did you type today in your smartphone? Think about this. How many messages did you send? Now, let's think about last week. How many messages did you send last week in your smartphone? How many emails did you send? How many times did you click mouse? And how many keystrokes did you make? Now, multiply that number by the people in the room. It's becoming a bit of a maths exercise, isn't it? But it's going to help us energize a little bit our brains and get to the point of, hey, there are hundreds of people in the conference, millions of people in Portugal, and billions of people in the world. All of them sending messages, writing emails, taking pictures, jotting ideas, moving data. So yes, we've changed the workplace. We've become much more distributed, much more digital. But have we peaked? Have we really unlocked the potential to innovate? Because there's more to it than just changing the way you perceive the workplace. And that goes to the culture. And having an innovative workplace doesn't always mean a workplace where innovation happens. So, what are the characteristics of an organization that could successfully navigate the future of work? And when we say the future of work, many people will tell you, hey, we're on the cusp of a new technological revolution. There's just so much happening around us. Let's have a look at some of those examples, right? So there's the deep global connectivity with the development of internet as well as smart technologies, making it possible for human beings to connect much more faster, almost instantly, and have access to information in much more easier way than ever before. Then there's AI coming into the picture, which makes possible for companies to automate and analyze vast amounts of data, but what's more, make decisions and predictions that were only possible for humans before. We also have the human-machine interaction changing with the technology coming into our daily life. If you think about examples like Vision Pro, which also changes the way we communicate with technology and also how we control technology in our daily lives. And then there's advanced engineering with green tech, how we reduce waste, how we focus on environmental conservation, and 3D printing, which makes it possible for rapid prototyping, completely revolutionizing the way production is being done, and customization as well. So these are all trends that we all witness and observe happening before our eyes. And for us being here, we're already pivoting and saying, hey, yes to the changes, yes to what technology is bringing, so we can navigate the future of work. I have some good news for everybody in the room. No worries. You're in a good position because you've already pivoted. You've shown that you are embracing change and new ideas. You're shifting towards more distributed, more autonomous workplaces. But hey, when I say more autonomous, there's the bad news, or hopefully I would love to say more good news for all the people that love change. And that is, there's more to it than just workplace, if you think about it. It's about the degree to which you would let empowerment and trust within the organization and distributed organization. It's about the autonomous shift. Because going remote first means also people first, trust-heavy mindset. So let me take you back in 1985. There were two American psychologists, Richard Ryan and Edward Tassi. They did an experiment just to kind of prove whether the prevailing notion that reward is the main motivator for people is correct, or maybe there's more to it. And what they found out is, in the end of the day, it goes back to the feeling of autonomy that really drives people forward, makes them feel fulfilled, satisfied, and make impact. And the reason for that is because the feeling of autonomy gives us also the feeling that we're making the impact coming from our own abilities. So how we can make this shift towards more autonomy that we can empower people with? And what are the characteristics of an organization that will be successful? Same way as we think about the skill, will, and environment, when we think about what we need to do so we can equip the people in our teams to be successful as leaders, same way we can apply those principles to organizations. Looking at the skills an organization would need to have so it can thrive in the future, it goes back to being able to see change, having the foresight so you can spot change, you can seek for change, and you can embrace that. Being able to adapt and create structures within your teams that can empower decision-making, that can give the people ability to make decisions, drive their own processes, drive their own work. And also the learned experience, which helps us grow and evolve. Because if people are given a chance to massage the learning through their own context and experience, that makes it so much more tangible in terms of ROI. Now let's look at the will. What's the will of an organization so it can navigate a future of work successfully? Well, that's an organization that has the right energy and obviously allows people to experiment and set foot on new grounds, try out and seek for new ways of thinking, of working, and also focusing on the customers, which always gives us the perspective of, hey, what we're doing, does it make sense for the customers that we're serving? Because there's the cultural alignment happening there as well. And giving a chance for people to take the initiative, innovate. And that all happens in an environment which is creative, flexible, rewarding, and empowering. So all the companies that get those three rights would be the ones that we believe would be successfully navigating the future, having the right mindset and the right tools to make the autonomy shift. And the bigger those circles become, you would see that the bigger would be also the standard in which they converge. Innovation happens when someone has the will and also the skill and tool to make innovation happening and the environment that allows for that. At Make, we call this the sweet spot. This is what happens in the center when all those three converge. So we are pushing the boundaries for innovation and creativity at Make. Make is a visual, no-code automation platform that connects more than 1,700 different applications. And they can speak with each other in a way that they can do if you work with them separately. It's incredibly powerful. And the reason for that is it gives the ability for people to build and create. Within just a few clicks, they can create powerful scenarios. And when we speak to customers about what no-code tools give them and what they experience when they work with Make is, they say it's something unique, something magical, because it opens a tremendous amount of innovation for them. If you think about giving the power to people to work and create, have the ability to speak a new language, because we are actually giving a visual language for people to speak. And they can build and do what a coder would be able to do, just without the coding skills. And because innovation can have so many different forms, right? Every organization is unique. All the needs of an organization as well are also very unique. The requirements and the goals, what we want to achieve and the impact we want to make on the societies and the world, it can take different forms. But I'm thinking, I really wanted to share with you some examples of customers that are succeeding with Make. Many different ways that they are using Make and different ways that they can actually benefit from that and make an impact. So let me introduce you to Finn. Finn is a car subscription company, Munich-based company. They've been in the car subscription business since late 2019. They've been selling car subscriptions, joining the exclusive club of Care by Volvo, Porsche Passport, and Book by Cadillac. Now, for everybody in the room who's not very close to car subscription business, I'm just going to share that the difference to car lease is with car subscription, a customer gets everything covered, all the inconveniences. So that's the insurance, that's maintenance, that's the change of tires, the change of oils. So what's left for the customer is just to make sure that they care of the fuel, and obviously they can enjoy their car. Now, in order to be successful in such business, Finn needed to make sure that they're competitive. They're offering flexibility, and they're offering cost efficiency. So that all goes for automation at scale. The whole business of Finn is based on automation. And you might think that that sounds like an unconventional, unpopular decision to make, especially if you have a very capable programming team on board. But let me tell you something. Giving some space for the real programmers to code and do some value work instead of transactional work, that frees up more space for them to make an impact. And the biggest benefit when Finn decided to go automation first was 90% decrease in manual work and 93% faster time to market. So that's an example of a company that succeeded rapidly because they applied no-code automation and empowered a lot of collaboration between the teams. People were able to see much more deeper into their own processes, into how they do work, so they can make decisions, they can take responsibility, and they can make much bigger impact. Now, second example is Jelly Smack. You might have heard about Jelly Smack. Jelly Smack is a social media company, also made it to Fast Company's prestigious list of the world's most innovative companies. The way Jelly Smack uses and leverages Make is for their content creation and the way they can distribute at scale on social media platforms. With Make, they can have professional content distributed much faster, so they can make much more impact, which in the end resulted for decreasing the manual efforts from 2 weeks to only 10 seconds. And that in an ever-evolving social media landscape. And then the third example I wanted to share with you is about one of the fastest growing startups in Europe, Teleclinic. This is also one that is very close to my heart personally. And here it goes. Teleclinic is reimagining the world of medical care. And when they decided, hey, we need an automation platform as a solution for our business so we can thrive, they were also very mindful of the fact that that goes for GDPR compliance, full GDPR compliance, having the ability to advance in customer-facing solutions, having the ability to influence repetitive and manual work and tasks. So there were so many requirements before them when the leadership team decided to look for the right platform that they want to apply to their businesses. And there are a few different options they were looking into and decided to go for Make for a few reasons. One, very intuitive front end, which allows connecting multiple internal and external APIs. So if you have a growing tech stack, if you have a lot of apps that you're using, obviously it would be possible for you to make them speak to each other very fluently while you connect in powerful workflows. And then Make also enabled Teleclinic to adopt automation-first mindset. Now, that is something which is also very much culturally aligned to how we work and Make, because it gives the power and enables everyone in the organization to be able to do automations with Make without the necessarily needed technical skills, because it's a no-code tool. And as I said, it pretty much gives you the ability to speak a new visual language. And then one of the, I would say, most notable results for Teleclinic was in their pharmacy support department, which I wanted to share with you. As the company was scaling and they were growing and their workload was growing, the demand was to forecast 38 headcount growth for the company. Now, implementing Make, that forecast became an afterthought because they were able to run the department very successfully with just 4 people in it. Now, as the curtains fall to my stories, there is one truth that shines through, and that is, if you think about the combination of the right mindset and the tools so you can give empowerment to people, then that's a transformative formula to success. So where do we come in? And by we, I mean everybody in the room, everybody in the conference, every leader in the organizations, and how we want to move more towards distributed world, every people leader in a successful organization. We're doing much more than just managing human resources or even helping the business shape strategies. It's about the culture. So here's what I suggest. One is really let the autonomy shift in by clearing the air and involving people in the why, what, and how business gets done. And then second is set best practices based on principles instead of policies, without stepping on employees' toes, but really giving them the freedom so they can act and think and do more than just click, type, and move data around. And then lastly, it's about the combination of the right mindset, automation-first mindset, probably with the right tools, would really help people gather momentum and focus on innovation. But hey, there's one thought I want to leave you with, and that is going remote is just the warm-up for what the future relationships between employers and employees, business and people would look like. And I think we're all in a good position to pivot as long as we really focus on how we can let our teams collaborate more effectively and really be innovative. Thank you so much. My team will be here, and we'll be happy to show you what's more possible. Appreciate that very much, and happy to take questions.
What's the average size of an organization that Make.com is working with?
Oh, we have organizations that are individual users. For example, we have 500,000 different users of Make. Individual users, solopreneurs, digital native companies, as well as some bigger traditional ones like Bank of New York Mellon, for example, Warner Bros. So very diverse set of customers.
Amazing, excellent. So folks, raise your hand. We have a microphone right here coming down here. So let's ask Polina a question. You mentioned solopreneurs. How would a solopreneur want to connect some stuff with Make.com? Can you give us an example of how a solopreneur might be able to leverage the tool?
Well, I think the impact of Make is really it kind of frees up space for you to do more value work instead of busy work. And I think for a solopreneur, that's always what they're looking for, right? So how I can achieve more faster with a bigger impact, while I'm not really stuck into the moment of transactional work, repetitive tasks, how I work with the different tools I have. And obviously, I think the natural customer of Make is this digital native company that would obviously be really interested in technology and the different tools and stacks they have, and how you make them speak fluently with each other so you can free up space to really have the creative thinking. Instead of thinking about, okay, this is what I have to do, what's the sequence of the work that I have to do, you can build that in a very powerful workflows within just a few seconds. So I think, we're all about more value work instead of busy work.
Very nice. Thank you, Pauline. We have a question right here. Go ahead.
Hi.
Oh, is this? Okay, it's on. Hi, Polina. My name is Milana. Great talk, and I'm a really, really big fan of automation and also no code. And I think that, and I myself have used a bunch of different tools in the past, and there are some favorites, but I love how the space is also expanding. But what I noticed from my experience as, being COO and building like our entire internal ops system in a no code, and then trying to not force but run adoption by the team has always been a challenge. So what do you suggest as one of the entry-level points, use cases for organizations or ops professionals or whoever wants to get started, and how to best translate that to everyone, because it is still a very emerging field and not a lot of people can wrap their heads around oh, what does this do? And then after a while, they're like, oh, it's like magic. I don't have to do these repetitive tasks anymore. So what would be kind of the starting point?
Exactly. That's a great question. We do have, for starters, we do have a great portfolio of different templates that you can start with and you can use. So we're kind of continuously building on that portfolio of use cases of different customers, how they use Make and how they can adapt Make. And usually you can either start by, hey, I have an idea, I have a specific use case that I want to do, and obviously Make can help you build that and create. Or I don't necessarily know what's my end goal, but I'm very interested to see how I can leverage no-code automation tools so I can free up some space for myself. And I think in the second case, obviously, the templates would be very helpful. And I think once the team starts using, or at least have one active scenario running, they kind of start realizing what's the benefit, how much they have gained back in terms of time, and hang time still remains our most precious resources, right? So I think, obviously, giving yourself that space to be more creative and do more value work, and then obviously being able to see with your own eyes how you've made the process work for you instead of you working from the process. That's always this pivotal moment in which it kind of becomes, it has the ripple effect. And I think from one person, then it gets to the other, it grows into teams, it grows into departments, it grows into scale of the organization as well. So yeah, that would be a starting point.